Today I thought we'd discover a trip from Derwent River in Central Highlands of Tasmania down to Queenstown, starting up at Lake St Clair and heading all the way down. Enjoy. Today's adventure is Lake St Clair. I have fond memories of this as a kid. When Mum would drive us to Hobart, we'd often stop in here and play with the most friendly wallabies and kangaroos you ever seen. There wasn't much here back then, but kangaroos and wallabies, certainly not the visitor centre you see here. It's hard to get a scale of Lake St Clair from this angle. It's quite a big, long lake. It also happens to be the deepest lake in Australia. Beautiful day for a drive today. I think that's Mount King William. You can see in front of me. This is what Tasmania's known for. Lots of button grass. I'm often hearing this argument that you should drive around Tasmania in a clockwise direction as opposed to an anti-wise clock direction. The reason being is apparently the view unfolds around you when you do that. This is actually the first time I've driven in that direction. I have to say, I'm starting to see what they're talking about. I'm at the Franklin River Nature Trail. It's one of Tasmania's 60 great short walks. I've not done this one. I've always gone into the swinging bridge to see the Franklin River. Let's go have a look. I've just driven down Mount Arrowsmith Pass. So I'm leaving the Central Highlands and slowly working my way downhill to the west coast of Tasmania. And you can see already that it's changing dramatically, is this landscape. It's gotten very rainforesty. This area of Tasmania gets 2 to 3 metres of rainfall a year. It's incredibly lush, incredibly green, and incredibly special. Let's go and see the Franklin River. I have to say, the smells in here, absolutely magic. And you know what? It's dry and the moss is not quite as green as it should be, but still pretty spectacular in here. Now I think I'm coming up to the Franklin River here. Franklin River and its story is really the birthplace of the green movement. During the late 60s, the Tasmanian government started to devise a plan to make some major dams in this part of Tasmania to really broaden the hydroelectricity scheme. In the 70s, they dammed or inundated Lake Pedder. There was an outcry. Then Lake Gordon was built. That dammed the Gordon River. The next plan was a lower Gordon scheme, and the plan was to dam the Gordon River below the Franklin River. That would have inundated all of the Gordon River and most of the Franklin River. The Green Movement was not going to have a bar of that, and they raised a stink. Eventually, Tasmania was sanctioned by the United Nations. UNESCO declared this part of the world a World Heritage listed UNESCO park. The fight continued. Thousands of people were arrested. And eventually, the dam was stopped. The Commonwealth Government of Australia, under the new leadership of Bob Hawke, put an end to it for once and all. So, here in Tasmania, what's known as the last wild river still flows today. Now this is the beginning of the Frenchman's Cap walk. Frenchman's Cap's a very popular walk, as you can probably tell by the amount of cars here hiking it. But very short first part of it goes down to a suspension bridge that goes over the Franklin River. That's only a short 15-minute walk. So down I go. Now, Frenchman's Cap walk is definitely on my bucket list. I don't think I'm going to get to it this trip, but I'm definitely coming back sometime. Oh, I do love the smells in here. Now, if you've ever been to Tasmania and you've bought a national park pass for 2 months and thought, hell, why is it $80? That's a lot of money for a national park. Well, this is why. This is the levels that national parks go to make places accessible for us. This swinging bridge crosses the Franklin River, which I have to say today is quite a trickle, and you could probably wade across it. But this is where your money's going when you pay for a national park pass in Tasmania. It's so that you can get into locations like this safely and easily. There are 2 suspension bridges across the river on your way to Frenchman's Cap. This is the first one. Doherty's Hill Lookout. Another one of Tasmania's 60 great short walks. Now, one of the main reasons I came on this trip, this time to Tasmania, I've been here many, many times before, was to do all the things I've never done. I have never done this little short walk up a hill with a 360-degree view of the mountains and the Franklin River. So, here I go. I just hope the weather holds out. It's been a stunning day today, but it is starting to cloud over. So, fingers crossed, I get a good view. This is a very leisurely walk up here. It's very low-grade hill, good walking surface. I'm actually doing it in thongs. So don't ever be frightened to do this one. It's very easy. Now I have struck a little bit where she's going uphill a bit more. But I'm starting to see off into the distance the mountaintops. I think this is going to be a really great lookout. Now it's only 1.1k long, so this must be the last few steps up. You can hear me panting, yeah. The emphysema's kicking in. I still say this is an easy walk. Well, I am starting to get towards the top, and the views, they certainly are starting to open up. And it's still nice weather. Looks like that's the final destination. Doherty's Hill. The last few steps. Let's get up. It was definitely worth the climb up here. Up there in the distance you can see the spectacular Frenchman's Cap. I really hope one day I get up there. Down below us, that's the mighty Franklin River. I'm not sure what some of these ranges are, but around here it has a board that tells me what's over this side, so I'll be able to fill you in. So let's go have a look. Let's see what it tells me. It says Mount Gel, Mount Alma, Cyan Range, Mount Byron, that's Gould's Sugarloaf and Little Sugarloaf. The nice pointy peak is Pyramid Mountain. Then off there in the distance, we've got Camp Hill, and that's the Collingwood Range. And I presume down there is probably more of the Franklin River. I'm not sure. Might be another tributary. I've just worked out what this is. It is a tributary to the Franklin, It's the Collingwood River. That makes sense. It's coming down from the Collingwood Range. This is the Nelson Falls track. Again, on the 60 short walks list. This is one of my favourite waterfalls in Tasmania. This is why you want to be careful when you play with matches in Tasmania. This bushfire is from 20 years ago. I remember seeing this in 2006, not long after it had just happened, and thought, oh well, it'll just grow back. Well, in Tasmania it takes a very long time for it to grow back. Those dead trees are thousands of years old. So if you're in Tasmania and you're lighting a campfire, for God's sake, make sure you put it out, because that fire you might start might just take thousands of years to recover. This is Lake Burgbury, a dam that holds back the King River. It was built after the Commonwealth government stepped in and stopped the Gordon Below Franklin Dam project. It was seen as an alternative for Tasmania to move forward with its hydroelectricity. I'm up on Mount Lyell in Queenstown, very famous mining area here. This is the Iron Blow. What I find fascinating about this site is you might be able to see a line on the other side where the yellow schilt gives way to a pink sandstone. That's an actual fault line that runs down the west coast of Tasmania. It's pretty fascinating here if you're into geology. In a second I'll go show you some peacock rock. That's equally fascinating. There's Gormiston down there in the background. When I was here as a kid, there wasn't a blade of grass or a tree to be seen here. It's amazing to see it start to vegetate again. If you look up the mountain there, you'll get a gist of what it used to look like here in the 60s and the 70s. Now this is that peacock rock I was telling you about. The ore that's mined here in Queenstown, and has been for over 130 years, is a unique sort of rock. Contains many minerals: iron, silver, gold, and copper. And you can kind of see by the different colours of the rock how all the minerals interact. Now, the last time I was here, they were only just starting to build this track. This is the Horsetail Falls track on the side of the mountain in Queenstown. So let's have a little walk. Quite the structures they've built here to make this accessible. Really is quite an amazing track, this one. Literally clinging to the side of the mountain. Well, the mountains up here are pretty amazing. And albeit a trickle, I have to say, Horsetail Falls is pretty spectacular. It's probably going to rain in the next few days, so hopefully I get to come back and see it gushing. Now, I do love my geology, and one thing that's really interesting here is, unlike the yellow schist, which exists in Mount Lyell, where they do the mining, this mountain here is on the other side of the rift zone. It's a combination of coglamite and pink granite with veins of quartz. Pretty amazing. Okay, this is the end of the track. And here's the view they give you here of Horsetail Falls. I actually think it's a little better from down a bit lower. I was kind of hoping to get right over there to the top. Clearly, there is some kind of other track up there. I don't know what that zigzaggy one is over there, but that looks like fun. Oh look, over there in the distance. Welcome to Queenstown. Okay, that's it for the day. I'm going back to campground. Oh, how cool. Just before I started walking down, I realised I can see the airport from here. Queenstown has a funny looking airport. She goes up a hill. Guess that makes sense in a place like this. I'm actually surprised they found somewhere flat enough to put one. Hey, I've begun the trip at Derwent Bridge. And the end of the adventure, well, this part of the adventure, is Queenstown. Welcome to Queenstown. This mining town is based around copper, gold, iron, and silver mining. It all exists within that one ore that we talked about at the iron blow. This town used to be completely bare. There wasn't a tree or a blade of grass in it in the 60s. And I remember as a kid, Mum driving us up this road. It's famous to the locals. Supposedly there are 99 bends within a mile. There might be trees and vegetation on it today and it might feel secure. But back in the days when this was bare, that was one hell of a scary road to drive down. Okay, and that completes the trip from Derwent Bridge to Queenstown. And I've set up camp. I'm here at the local oval. And I've been welcomed with the local tradition of the West Coast. That would be rain. Now, if you look at that oval, no, that's not frost. What you're seeing there is gravel. This town was heavily affected by acid rain last century, and it denuded all the hills and all the grounds of grass, trees, any kind of vegetation at all. You can grow a thing here. But with the local tradition, they've kept their gravel oval here. So home matches held at this football ground are definitely a hometown advantage. Well, I'm glad you've enjoyed my trip from Derwent Bridge to Queenstown. Thanks for watching.